What role do you see women playing in India's cultural but also spiritual evolution?
I think women have been playing the greatest role since kingdom times. In dynasties, they've been heroes and they've fought battles. They've lived culturally. We've had a Mirabai, we've had a Jhansi, we've had everybody in our country.
Also, how would you describe or how would you get young adults to stay connected to their roots in this modern world? How do you think that is possible?
We need to bring it in front of them. It's the duty of the older generation to see that you celebrate things properly, the cultural activities, the festivals, the temple activities, the spiritual environment that you can keep live.
Welcome back to the Green Generation, where purpose meets possibility. Today, I am Shruti Sitaraman as your host, and I am a content creator, an entrepreneur, and a sustainability advocate. And in today's special episode, as our special guest today, we have a woman whose very presence feels like grace in motion. She's a teacher, a leader, an artist, and a seeker, and she's also someone who lives her values with humility and deep purpose. Mrs. Lata Rajnikant, and like you said, I think it's energy, it's cosmic energy, it's beautiful energy that people come with, and they think that there is only energy that comes from the superpower when you pray,
Yes.
but there's so much internal energy. It's your subconscious mind, your mind. You pray a lot, you meditate a lot, but to also channel that energy from within,
Yes.
to transcend that to other people, to while you're doing seva, not just. And I think that makes the biggest difference.
Yeah, Shruti, I think it's there in every tree, every plant, every flower around us.
In nature.
I used to talk to sparrows in my childhood. Hey, where are you? When did you have your food? I used to feel connected. That didn't seem odd to me. I used to talk to flowers. Hey, hi, how you beautiful. I think there is an energy, and I feel that I have experienced that. I feel that you need to touch that energy to interact, and when so much energy comes together, imagine the kind of power that you can have when you put positive energy and divine energy together.
Put the energy out there in the
Yeah.
universe, and you'll see it coming back at you.
Yes.
And that's what they truly mean. But what I want to ask you is, I'm sure your process of wanting to do seva, or not say, I wouldn't say process, but wanting to help people, for the people, by the people, and like you said, all of that energy, I'm sure it comes with challenges as well. So
Yes.
would you like to talk about some of the challenges that you faced?
With my personal experience over the past 45 years with public life and children, women on the streets, meeting people, living in the place I am, I find that people don't come together very easily. They need answers, they need, descriptions. I think help should come spontaneously. It should be very spontaneous and it should be very, very passionate from the heart.
Yeah.
It's hard to find people like that today. Maybe my grandfather, who had only 100 rupees in his hand, could give 20 rupees out without asking.
Yeah.
But today, even if you have 10,000 rupees, you need answers to give 100 rupees.
Yeah.
You need to,
You need to know what's
you
in
need
it
to
for
know
me.
what is it. It's not just that, okay, I'm giving it, that person is happy and that's what I need. You don't need accounts. So in a big way, I have found that even the biggest of people, even the corporates, even everybody, it's not that easy to bring good energy together. There are a lot of questions today, there are a lot of doubts today. So I think that's where we lack today, of coming together. So I put in my Daya Foundation of Bharata Seva, let's come together to make a difference. First is to come together, then you decide what you need to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the more the merrier, the more people can help, the more you can do your little bit. Like we said earlier, it's not about the money. It's about doing your little bit, just being a part of the community, and that itself
Yes.
creates so much of a difference than you realize. And what I want to understand is, was there a silent moment or a turning point where you felt like, this is why I do what I do?
I think it's been part of me. I'm very thankful to my husband first. I'm thankful to my parents, my gurus, and I have to give the credit to my husband for allowing me to be who I am. It's very easy in our society, in his status, in his popularity, in his celebrity status, to think like this, because he's a humble and spiritual person himself, and he's giving so much of himself to the society that I think he understood. And I think that's the greatest moment when I felt, oh, I'm able to be myself.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, most important.
லதா அவர்கள் ஒரு நல்ல மனைவியா, ஒரு நல்ல தாயா, பேர குழந்தைங்களுக்கு ஒரு நல்ல பாட்டியா, தன்னுடைய லௌகிக கடமைகளை சிறப்பாக செய்து கொண்டு இப்போ இந்த செல்போன் யுகத்தில் இளைஞர்கள், ஏன் சில பெரியவர்கள் கூட நம்ம பாரத நாட்டின் மகோன்னதமான சம்பிரதாயம், அதோட கலாச்சாரம், அதோட அருமை பெருமை எல்லாம் அவங்களுக்கு தெரியாமலேயே அதை பற்றி ஒரு அறிவு இல்லாமலேயே ஒரு வெஸ்டர்ன் கல்ச்சருக்கு அப்படியே இளைஞர்கள் போயிட்டு இருக்காங்க. இங்கே வெஸ்டர்னர்ஸ் அங்கே அவங்களுடைய சம்பிரதாயம் கலாச்சாரத்தில் அவ்வளோ சந்தோஷம் நிம்மதி கிடைக்கலன்னு சொல்லி அவங்க நம்ம இந்தியா பக்கம் இதில் தான் ஒரு உண்மையான ஒரு நிம்மதி சந்தோஷம் கிடைக்கும்னு சொல்லி அவங்க இந்த பக்கம் வந்துட்டு இருக்காங்க. லைக் மெடிடேஷன், யோகா, இயற்கையான வாழ்க்கை, அந்த மாதிரி. ஸோ நம்ம பாரத நாட்டின் அந்த மகோன்னதமான அந்த கலாச்சாரம், சம்பிரதாயம், அருமை பெருமை எல்லாம் இளைஞர் மக்கள்கிட்ட போய் சேர்க்கணும், அந்த விழிப்புணர்வு ஏற்படுத்த வேண்டும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி லதா அவர்கள் இருக்கிற எல்லா முயற்சியும் அந்த ஆண்டவன் அருளால் வெற்றி அடைய வேண்டும் என்று நான் ஆண்டவரை வேண்டுகிறேன். வாழ்த்துக்கள். நன்றி. வணக்கம்.
No, that's great. That energy that, like you said, it starts very small and at home when you feel like you have the energy to be able to get up and do more and you have support. That itself, it's like you said, it's probably almost like silent energy and silent support.
Exactly.
But that's the strongest form of support that you
That's
need.
the greatest motivation for me when I shared this work with him. And the first time when I started working, he was watching and sharing, listening to things. And for a girl who's married, I think it's the partner, the father, the brother who can all be motivational factors in life. So I think that's a big difference. Yes.
Oh, absolutely. And talking about that, what role do you see women playing in India's cultural but also spiritual evolution?
I think women have been playing the greatest role since kingdom times. In dynasties, they've been heroes, and they've fought battles. They've lived culturally. We've had a Mirabai, we've had a Jhansi, we've had everybody in our country.
Yeah.
So I think women play a big role, which is not even seen outside. I know in small villages on railway platforms, old women who extend help to children who get down from trains. And I know people in every small village who's a head, very simple, who's got a leadership quality.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't come out. We only see the things on the peripheral, energies. You don't see everything deep down in the roots. But there's great power there.
Absolutely. Sometimes it goes unrecognized, and I think
Yes.
that's what we need to go back and tap into.
And I think every mother, every woman in every home, she could be having something very special,
Yeah.
and she could simply go unrecognized.
Correct. Tap the potential
Yes.
of the closest people around you that you
Yes.
think you don't know, but I think everyone, like you said, every woman definitely has a superpower, a special talent that sometimes unfortunately goes unnoticed. But hopefully we can all, like you said, come together and
Yeah, Indian women, Shruti, they have this great balance of running a home.
Yeah.
That itself is a big thing.
Yeah.
We have different kinds of human beings around us, different kind of personalities. Then she becomes a wife, then a mother, the daughter-in-law, the mother-in-law, and still she plays all the roles, and she has to balance the entire situation. I think Indian women are great in that.
No, absolutely. And I think the people who are homemakers, their job usually goes so unnoticed.
Yes.
And not just in terms of the physical work that they do, but the emotional management of, like you said, emotions, personalities, all of that is, I think, profoundly far more tough than any other physical job that you do outside of
Yes.
the house.
I'd also like to correct, it's not just the Indian women. I think women across the world whom we may not even know, sometimes deep down in a forest in Africa or any other place, we don't know the kind of tenacity with which they work. And that is the power of the society, I think.
So, talking about, since you were speaking about children, I know the answer to this question is, say, do Bharat Seva, but also, how would you describe or how would you get young adults to stay connected to their roots in this modern world? How do you think that is possible?
We need to bring it in front of them. It's the duty of the older generation to see that you celebrate things properly, the cultural activities, the festivals, the temple activities, the spiritual environment that you can keep live. The cultural environment, that's why we took the cottage industries. Like you walk into a mall and you simply pick up a bag that is very expensive. You're willing to buy it, it's beautiful. But you should also know they can walk into Bharat Market or my Indian store where you can pick up a bag made by a simple bamboo vendor, which also looks equally beautiful, and give it a try. So you have to give that exposure. You have to bring that world in front of their eyes. If you don't, I don't blame the younger generation, because you're not showing an alternative world. You need not say this is wrong, but you can always say this is also there. This is right. This is what we did. So why don't you take a look at it? So that is the kind of exposure we have to bring.
Absolutely. I think the positive approach, it's always about, not talking about the negative effects of what you are doing.
Yes.
But talking about the positive effects of what if you adapted this into your routine.
Exactly.
I think that seems to connect with people most. But also having, been a part of one of the events with Bharat Seva, I can promise you that they have beautiful artifacts. There are so many business women and men who are there, who are doing and selling so much handiwork, so much work that goes into it, and it's so cultural. And there's a lot of things that I purchase that I love, that I use. That's very in trend also. It's not like it's traditional and you can't use it. There's something for everyone of every age. So definitely you must go out there and try and buy some stuff. Now what I want to ask you next is, what small step would you recommend to someone who wants to serve but doesn't know where to get started from?
Get connected to people who are, doing it. You can always start with somebody and then understand how it works. That's what we are seeing. In every street corner, we need somebody for Bharat Seva. You can be a member. You need not come physically. You can still participate. So first, the thought that you want to participate is important. So I think that's where you enroll yourself and say, what can I do? And you can do a lot for your locality, your area. You need not come out too. You can work from where you are and still be a member of Bharata Seva or Sankalpam and serve the society.
No, absolutely. And if you're part of the community, then you have the opportunity to get connected to more people from different other parts of the state, the city. If they're able to work remotely, staying in a village, then somebody else who's on the foundation also gets connected. And like you said, it starts with a community. So as the minute you start connecting, that's step one to understanding better at how you can serve for the nation, for the people, for yourself, for your families.
I also believe that education plays a big part. When you start the kind of school I'd like to run is what I practice right now for the past 33 years. And I think parents should be well educated of what is education. It's just not academics. It's just not exams. It's all about molding a person into somebody who can be useful to himself and for others. And for yourself, it's professional. For others, it's social. So from childhood, you have to involve the child in such a way with stress-free education and the upbringing that you can give from kindergarten. So parents should understand what education is.
No, absolutely. That line is so profound. I don't know, it stuck with me. You should be educated about what education is.
Yes.
And I think that is something that a lot of us don't realize, that we have our own perception of what education is, and then hence we don't realize we're not moving in the right direction. But I think that is so very, very, very important to note.
And I think a sense of joy. I think a lot of people are stuck to a lot of small things like ego, anger, differences. I think once you start spiritually addressing these things, that there's a story about Kabir which may take some time for me to tell you. Kabir is sitting in a village temple, And a villager comes and asks him, "How is it that you're smiling all the time?" So Kabir says, "That's okay, but I can see on your face that this is the last day in your life. By tomorrow, you're not going to be there." So he says, "What? I came to ask you something and you're telling me something?" He says, "Yeah, go do whatever you need to do." This villager was reputed for scolding everybody, for abusing everybody, beating his wife, beating his children, not doing his job properly, lazy, and not living a life that is meaningful. So he goes back and he thinks tomorrow last, calls his child and says, "I'm so sorry. All these days I had never spent time with you." Calls his wife and says, "Sorry if I have been abusive." Calls his mother and father, "Sorry that I didn't take your blessings. Let me just take your blessings." Goes around the village the whole day asking apology and trying to see. Now he's trying to sit there in meditation, try and talk to God. And then time goes, that one day passes. He comes back to Kabir and says, "You told me I wouldn't be there today. See, I come back at the same time to meet you. What is this?" He says, "What did you do in the past 24 hours?" He says, "This is what I went around, and all that I made mistakes, I wanted to correct." He says, "Yes, always think this is your life." I smile because I think this is the last day, every day. So don't think you're here forever, that you can take everything for granted. So that's how the story goes.
No, it's a wonderful story, and I think something that everyone should try and imbibe in their lives. We, again, like I said, we aren't invincible. Live today, live in the present. Think like today is the last day. Do your bit. Every little bit counts. Every single day counts. Every single minute counts. What is the one way you would like for your seva to be remembered from the heart?
Something that can be carried on.
Wonderful.
It should not just stop with somebody. It should be carried on, and it should be sustained, and it should be practiced like a system, like a part of your life.
Yeah. No, that was wonderful. Thank you so much for speaking with us today. And your words remind us that even quiet actions, like the little bit, do your bit by just building a community, connecting with people, when done with devotion, can actually shift nations. To all our listeners, let this conversation be your call to inner clarity, but also outer purpose. Do your bit again, like we said. Please check out Bharat Seva, and if you can contribute in any way, that would be wonderful. Again, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you, Shruti. I'd also like to say that at some point, when I meet you again, I'd like to extend all that I can contribute to the life of children.
Of course.
In terms of counseling, in terms of upbringing, in terms of education. I'd like to spread it across to the world so that we come together when we address children.
Of course, absolutely. And I think we always talk about how sustainability or the awareness or the education that we want to create is for the youth, and for the youth to come together, for them to be the ones that we want to be a driving force, and they have the power to make change. So absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you
again. Once again, we are truly honored to have you on the podcast.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.